All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us here at the On the Buck Studios. We've got Donny Thompson live with us. What's up?
Hello there. Hey, everybody.
Yeah, it's America's favorite. Hey, what's up, man? Oh, we really appreciate you sitting down and taking the time to talk to us. I know that you're getting home and life's crazy right now, but thank you for this hour out of your life to share with the fans and talk about your game. So thank you.
You're welcome. It's nice to talk to you and McCrae.
Well, we're glad to have you, man.
If I was you, Donny, I would always preface my name like, excuse me, it's America's favorite player, Donny. Like, that's how I would always do it. Like, once you win that title, like, I would just always be telling everyone, oh, I'm America's favorite player. Duh. Don't you know who I am? You gotta get a diva. You gotta.
Yeah, he's gonna start going. He'll start going by Donald Thompson, please. I am. No.
Excuse me, America's favorite player, Donald.
No.
Yes, but no. Donny, if let's just kind of start at the very beginning. Like, I know that you're a super fan, that you've watched since, like you told me yesterday, One-Legged Eddie. But I would like for you to tell everybody else that doesn't know how you got involved with Big Brother, how you became a fan, and then what made you want to audition for the show, and then just get us all the way up into the casting process for you, please.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, me and my brother has watched every season. We started, I guess it's back in 2000 with One-Legged Eddie, and I really enjoyed Big Brother and Survivor. I never miss a season. And so I started dating my girlfriend Christine a couple years ago, and I told her about Big Brother, that I was watching it. So we shared that summer, I guess season 14, and she liked it. And then we watched last season, season 15, and then at the finale, Julie Chen says, "America, get out your video cameras and make a 3-minute clip." So Christine said, "Donny, we'll make a clip of you. You would probably be good at this game because everybody loves you." And well, I kind of put it off, and I didn't have a beard. I had a little bitty goatee. And so, like the third week in October, I started to grow a beard because it gets pretty cool here in North Carolina, and I worked outside. So when we finally got around to it, the 1st of November, I didn't even have my big beard. I had a little bitty beard, and we made it back there in her bathroom because the lights was better back there. And I sent it in, and I forgot all about it. And then it seems like it was like the end of March. My phone rang, and it said Northern Los Angeles, and I thought it was a telemarketer, and I always like to play with telemarketers, so I picked it up in the worst redneck voice. I said, "Hello," and they said they was from Big Brother, and I was really shocked.
That's awesome.
I told them I had to Skype with them, and I told them, I said, by then I had a pretty big beard, and I said, it gets warm weather, I'll shave it off. And they said, well, no, don't shave it off yet because, they wanted everybody else to see me, so had to keep the beard.
Yeah. I'm familiar with that. So yeah. Are you planning on shaving your beard, Donny?
Well, I wanted to because Christine doesn't like the beard. Well, she does now, but she didn't before I went into the house. And, you can't lick a plate clean because it gets all in your beard. When you eat ice cream or you bite a hot dog, you get mustache in your mouth. So,
yes.
I wanted to. And I asked, during the middle of the season, I asked if I could shave it. And, of course, you could only make changes to your appearance on Thursday, and so they said, they'd let me know by the next Thursday. So they never did let me know, and then I was in the thread of going home every week, so I didn't want to shave it and go straight home because I wanted people to see what I looked like.
Yeah.
So it never worked out where I could shave it on the show.
Yeah, I thought I wanted to shave my beard too because, like you, I don't normally have this. And just like you're saying, when you eat, you bite on your mustache hairs, it gets in your mouth. It's a hell of a thing to carry around.
Let me pose this question to both of you guys. Like, you guys both had to, be out in, the California sun's beards. Does that get annoying when you're out in that sun? Because, man, that California sun is killer. Did that, really drive you guys both nuts?
I thought it
Donnie?
was very hot. You know, like with your T-shirt, normally you get a little bit of air out the top of it. Well, this kind of held the heat in, and then
Greenhouse effect.
if you hadn't shaved up under here, I call it my undercarriage. It gets kind of icky, and then you're out there and it's 105 degrees. It's awfully hot.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Hot.
Yeah, McCrae, same answer here. It got hot and sweaty in the house.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's kind of go back. You've talked about your casting. Obviously, you nailed your auditions. You got in the house, and let's talk about, as a super fan, you've been watching with your brother since way back when. Tell us what it was like for you to enter the house and what you thought of all the people and just the whole. Give me about what your thoughts and feelings about the first hour of being in the house were like.
Well, it was very exciting. You know, right before we go in the house, it's so you don't never see anybody. You can't see who the cast is. It's very secretive. And then all of a sudden, you know, they let us walk out and we looking at each other. And I always like to play by the rules, so I didn't even want to look at them. I was like, I ain't supposed to look. But by that moment, we could look at them. And then we can't talk. And we get up on stage with Julie Chen, and I'm very starstruck then. And I remember she wants to take a selfie of our group of 8 that was behind her, and she was like something like, "Smile, Donnie," and I was like, oh, she knows my name. She knows my name. So I was excited for that. And then when we walked in the house, I just remembered it was very exciting. All the pretty colors. I forgot I said this, but my girlfriend said when we made our first toast, I said to pretty colors in high definition because I really like to look at the pretty colors. And there was plenty of them in the house with the pretty blues, the oranges, the walls. It was just amazing. My brain couldn't comprehend everything at one time. I remember seeing the chainsaw right there, and I had to reach and touch the chainsaw that was on that stump. So it was very exciting. And then the people with such characters, you know, just looking at the other housemates, it was fun because they looked like such fun characters to get to know.
Yeah.
You
definitely
like, all right, being a super fan, like me myself, I kind of went in with like a game plan. I'm sure you had a game plan that you were gonna go into the house with. When you went into the house, like, did that game plan change? What was that game plan, and how did it differ from your game plan in the actual house?
Well, my game plan before going into the house is I knew a lot of times that the older person is targeted early, except for like season 10 with Jerry. But most of the time you've got all these younger people. They're already you know, getting to know one another, and they've got a lot of things in common. So you know, kind of like the first person that's evicted, usually they don't know a lot about them enough to really target them. They just don't want to you know, stir the waters a lot. So I thought, you know, I've got to try to make it past the first eviction. So I didn't want to ask people to be in alliances because I knew I already sounded different. I already looked different, and me being a lot older, I needed to kind of back up and stay under the radar. So I wasn't wanting to approach people and said, hey, you want alliances, because I knew they would go tell other people. I wanted them to come to me because I can control what comes out of my mouth. I can't control if I ever speak to someone else, then they run and tell. So that was my philosophy to start with. So, and it worked out that, you know, Devin came to me first. So it was kind of working by letting people approach me. So that was my initial plan.
Well, let's talk about that with Devin then, because the Double D's alliance was not one of the first alliances in the house, but it was one of the first 3 or 4, I guess.
Yeah.
You're initially trying to align with Devin ended up being a problem. Talk about Devin. Talk about the Double D's alliance when that started to feel strained, and then his house meeting that he called. Just kind of lead us into the early Devin stuff.
Well, you know, he approached me about, hey, Donnie, you want to be in an alliance? And, you know, he was a big old boy. I'd never seen nobody in real life that big. So I said, you know, you hate to say no because he's a big old feller. I figured no one would ever nominate him because he was intimidating. So I said, of course I'll work with you. And I really trusted him. There was no reason not to. So,
Sure.
Things went down that I didn't know, and I still don't know to this day. But, he came and told me later on that he didn't think I was who I said I was, that I was a different profession, maybe ex-military or something, that he didn't trust me. And I told him that, I trust him, and it doesn't matter what his profession is I like him for who he was in the house. So all the stuff that y'all know, I didn't know at the time. So, I still liked him throughout. When I was nominated, I thought I was just nominated because I was the first guy to fall off that pole that day. I didn't think I was targeted. When I won splitters and saved myself, I didn't think I really had to. But now I think I had to because I think I was the target.
Yes.
In the house, you don't know all this stuff.
No. No.
Yeah.
No, you definitely.
They thought. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, you definitely needed to win that veto. that was urgent.
Yeah.
That splitters veto, yeah, you would have gone home.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I didn't know it at the time. I had people saying they watched my back, which I appreciated that. They kept it a secret. I had no idea that I was the first target. I really didn't. I just hated that I was on the block, and I was like, well, maybe someone else will go home. There's 4 of us with the Battle of the Block this year. There's 4 people nominated, and that's enough to dilute it down a little bit. I only had a 25% chance, so I didn't think I was the number 1 target. Thank God that I did win the veto with splitters.
Yes. Now, with the Battle of the Block, your first Battle of the Block was the wine thing with Pow Pow when she was terrible. Is that correct? Was that the first Battle of the Block? Okay.
Yeah, I think it was the swinging 20s.
Okay. The swinging, whatever it was. So
pouring 20s. The pouring 20s.
It was the pouring 20s. When you found out there's going to be 4 nominations and the Battle of the Block and another competition and that kind of thing, did that make you nervous? Were you worried about that, or did that give you a sense of peace? Like you just said, it's only 25% chance of going home, but at the same time, being on the block is being on the block.
Yeah, when we first heard about it, I think we were all shocked because it was so different than for those of us fans that has watched many seasons, it wasn't like those seasons. So it kind of threw us off. But since I was nominated, I did appreciate an extra opportunity to save myself. So for people like me and Victoria that was nominated a lot, of course, Battle of the Block made us feel better if it's nothing but mental, because you don't just have 1 opportunity, you have 2 opportunities to save yourself.
Okay.
And you also have a teammate that could help you save yourself. So I like the thought of Battle of the Block in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, absolutely. I can see that, if you okay, I've got actually a team member helping me with this competition, basically, because they want to be off the block too. And yeah, I mean, absolutely. Donny, let's get into playing as an outsider, okay? Because you clearly played from the outside the entire game. Talk to us about what that does to your mentality, why you became how you became the outsider in your mind, and what you did to get on the ends. Let's talk about Donny Thompson trying to get from the outside to the inside of the game.
Okay. Well, like I say, I hadn't really watched nothing, and it's still kind of new to me. But in the game, when Devin woke me up and said that there was a big alliance, like an alliance of 8, I believed him. And then everyone else that he had named names, they all denied it. Some of them said, yeah, we had mentioned it, just like other people had alliances, but it dissolved, it faded away, so everyone denied it. And, I didn't know what to believe, but I still believed Devin. And then, I thought, well, I'll just wait and see. And then the weeks progressed when I seen who was nominated, who was voted out. It told the story that they were sticking together, except for a few, and it was like, Team America had their hand in getting rid of Amber. So, a few of them did get gone, but the bulk of them stuck together, and I wasn't the big alliance bomb squad or something like that.
Yeah, Bomb Squad. Yeah, it became the Detonators as Devin and Amber left. Caleb was in the Bomb Squad, but not a part of the Detonators. He was just kind of a satellite number because they thought that he was loyal, honest, and manipulating. Easy to manipulate. So, no, and Donnie, I know you haven't seen your episodes, and that's totally fine. Talk to us about what you saw happening in the house because that's really the most important. If there's something that you would like for us to fill in, we will the best we can. To add clarity or anything like that. But you mentioned Team America. Do you feel like Team America hurt or helped your game?
Well, I don't really know. I made it. 8 people was evicted before me, and I was the 8th. So I made it halfway. If I wasn't Team America, who knows? I might not have made it that far. Who knows? Maybe Derek and Frankie, if someone wanted to nominate me, talked them down from it. I don't know. I just really can't say. I will say that maybe in this game, if I had to choose someone to be aligned with, such as a Team America, maybe I would have chose 2 different players. But I can't say that it really hurt my game because I hadn't watched it. I don't know. They may have helped me get to the point I was at. So I can't say it really hurt me. I don't know for a fact because they'd said a couple times. They said America has put us together. We don't want to do anything to each other to disappoint America since they done it. So I was with them on that. It's like when I was head of household, I wouldn't nominate them that early because since America had voted for us, I didn't want to do anything to go against America because America knew more about us than we did. They got to watch everything. So, I don't really know if it hurt me. I do know that Team America voted me out.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, absolutely no. Derek and Frankie probably they wanted to keep Team America together, just in my opinion, so that they would continue to look good. If you chopped one of the arms off of Team America just because he's not fitting, I think it would look bad. I do think Team America maybe not helped you get farther, your veto wins and that kind of stuff, but it definitely it was definitely good. Did you see it as an alliance, or did you just see it as like a goofy twist that the season's having that we got to do some tasks together?
Well, it was a twist. Like I said, it may have not been someone that I would have chosen to align with, but I figured America knows more about this game than I do because they see everything. So I knew that there was something about these 2 guys that they wanted me to work with. We never talked a lot, but, that's the way I wanted it. I didn't want to sit around and buddy with someone that I thought was helping me. It would blow it. So, me and Frankie didn't speak a whole lot. Me and Derek didn't speak a whole lot. So I did think they had my back for the longest time, and I did have their back. So,
so you would say that Team America you'd say that Team America was your alliance? Is that correct? Can you hear me?
Yeah. You said would I say Team America was an alliance?
No, yeah. Do you consider that the alliance in the house? Is that did you feel safe because you're like I'm in Team America and this is an alliance and they will be loyal to me? Did you feel like it was your alliance?
At certain times I did. Yeah,
okay.
At certain times. Like if someone had put me up on the block and I knew I was going to Thursday night and it would be down to a vote, I kind of looked around and I was like, well, I think Team America would have my back. They would at least tell me I did, and I don't think I was naive to believe a lot of those times I believe they did have my back. And because we had a mission, if nothing else, if they didn't even want to have my back, we had some monetary gain by keeping each other.
Sure, absolutely.
Where do you think the turning point was for you? Where do you think the turning point was for Team America, in your opinion?
I don't know. I think they, I think they thought I was some kind of smarter person than I was. I think they seen me as a threat, maybe because of my competitions, maybe because of I didn't talk a lot and let them know my game plan. Maybe it just made them a little nervous because they didn't know a lot about me. The main thing is they were a part of that big alliance, and I wasn't. So maybe they kept me as long as they could without blowing their cover with their alliance. I understand that. You can't start saying, hey, let's save this guy that we've targeted the whole game. It throws your game off. So, I can't blame them for that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Did you think that was with Team America, because that's such an interesting thing? Did it cloud your brain a little bit? Would it make it hard? Were you like, was it added pressure? Is what I'm saying. Did you feel like that because you knew what Derek and Frankie were doing, but you couldn't go against them? You could was there ever a time where being on America's team was almost a burden for you?
Well, like I said, they may have been two guys that I wouldn't have chose to align with.
Okay.
But since I was appointed, I accepted it. I knew that America knew more about the three of us than we knew about each other. So
Okay.
I respected America's choice. I felt honored that I was even chosen. So when I went into this game being realistic about it, I know that there's only going to be one winner. Did I think I was going to win when I went in? No, I didn't. I was very happy to have went as far as I did. So, I don't blame no one. I'm very glad that I went as far as I did in the game.
Okay.
I think one of the best moments. Go on, Spencer.
Well, the reason I asked that is because it seemed that you struggled with your social game. You said earlier that you didn't want to be seen talking to Frankie and Derek too much so that people would know that y'all worked together on this team. Now, in hindsight, Frankie and Derek were the two people that really should have been being talked to the most by people. Maybe not game, but maybe likability. Do you think that you're where would you rank your social game? And what would you have done differently? And I want to ask a couple follow-up questions about your some game, so just kind of be thinking about that.
Yeah, as far as my social game, Zingbot got me on that one about my, social game. That was kind of like the first thing, that I realized, hey, my social game, is it not no good? Because maybe I'm misunderstanding what a social game is, but the majority of the people liked me. Mm-hmm. I took that as I was pretty social to have the majority of the people like me. The people that act like they didn't care as much about me, I think, feared me, thinking I was a better game player, or so I don't know. Maybe my social game was bad, but I don't have the same interest as people half my age. So what was I to talk about them?
No, absolutely, and fair enough. And like you said earlier, you haven't seen, but pretty much everybody that walks out that door tells Julie how much they love you. So I mean,
that's it.
Yes, I mean, and that is true. That is true. Would you think that your job and having a girlfriend impacted your social game as far as you weren't willing to talk about certain taboo topics, be more crass or vulgar, or do anything to kind of ingrain your way into a younger cast?
No, I wouldn't change anything I'd done. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of things in common. About the only thing I had in common with a lot of people half my age is humor, making people laugh. If some people didn't like me, no matter how much I tried to humor them, they didn't think it was funny. I would try to befriend someone, and I was able to befriend. I even tried to befriend some people, and I was unable to befriend them. So you can only do so much. If you can't make you can't make someone like you.
No, absolutely, absolutely. You what?
Yeah, I'm very content with what I think my social game was, because, as far as going to bed early, I don't think I would have stayed up no later, because there wasn't nothing else I could say to them.
Sure.
The things they talked about was things that I wasn't that interested in, and I was on the outs with the big alliance, so, it's not like they was going to share their games with me, so why should I share my game with them, because I was alone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's talk about Derek a little bit. We're going to talk about him. He'll interweave through some of these conversations, obviously as the winner, as a member of Team America, and as a obviously key player this season. You were given opportunities on the show. There's one scene where you're in the backyard with Derek, and he's trying to get you to talk to him. You'd already told Cody that you'd like to get Derek out, and that's one thing that people want to say. Why weren't you just like, all right, man, you got me. I don't know what to do. I'm trying, just bring me into the fold. I mean, what was that conversation like? Because it was kind of awkward to watch, and it's clear that you do not want to tell Derek too much. You don't want to talk to him much, and
absolutely.
Now, at that point, Derek acts like in the diary room that he's trying to work with you and would save you if he can, but then since you won't talk to him, he doesn't. And I understand that because you were targeting. You would like to have gotten Derek out. It appeared. So
I think let's go back to the beginning. When did you first get onto Derek's game? That's what I kind of want to know, because the whole season seemed like it was like a lead up of Donny versus Derek, because you figured out him and he figured out you, and it was pretty much seemed like who's gonna get the other one first. When did you first get onto his game?
I suspected him very early. With me and Devin, Devin woke me up one night and said that he wanted to bring Derek into our little double D's since he started with a D. So
Triple D, baby.
That's when I learned about. Yeah, I learned
brilliant,
about
brilliant.
So and then I seen how he was with other people, so I knew he was creating a lot of alliances. So, the way I was going to do was not say a thing, because if I said something, that would make me a target. So I seen him making a lot of alliances, and he was very good at it, and he done a great job at it. He was a very good talker. Derek was a great player. He knew how to talk to people and get them to do what he wanted. And so I suspected him earlier. And then, when he suspected, I suspected, what was I to do? I couldn't blow it up.
Cat and mouse.
We were kind of in the alliance together also with Team America. So, I just had to keep my mouth shut. And he thought I knew, and I knew. So I just had, all I can say about that is he had a lot more help than I did.
Absolutely.
Did you know that Derek and Cody were that close?
In the beginning, no, I didn't. I knew he had made alliances with almost everyone in the house, so when I found out about Cody's, I wasn't surprised. When I started knowing that they were stronger than I thought was Hayden was saying, I'm talking to Cody, and I trusted Cody, and he was saying things like, we need to trust Derek. I was like, no way, no way, because he'll leak it to the rest of the big group. And then they were saying that the bomb squad don't exist anymore, and I was real scared. It's like, you can only tell him so much, because then we're giving away our game. So when that whole thing went down at the double eviction, they got rid of Jocasta, kept Zach, then Hayden followed. I knew that Cody and Derek was a lot more tighter than me, Hayden, and Cody.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. 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 As far as Cody goes, what did he do in the house to make y'all not realize how close he and Derek were? Because obviously you talked to Cody about some of your game, some of your strategy, to your detriment. What did Cody do in that house to make it appear that relationship was farther apart than it really was?
Yeah, Cody was a great guy. From day one, it was yes, sir. He had great manners. His parents had raised a good kid. He was I feel a great friend throughout the whole thing. I never considered us an alliance, but I considered him a good friend. I felt I could trust him. He could trust me, but I don't think he did. But that was probably what was in his ear. But I love Cody to this day, and I didn't know he was in that alliance, so that was good game for him that he had such a tight alliance and it wasn't exposed.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a question we've asked a couple people because it seemed like Derek and Cody's closeness was never really suspected, at least to be as tight as it was. Okay, let's bust things out. Talk about let's see what I got here.
I'm kind of curious about this. I'm kind of curious about this. I want to know, like, all right, so, like, you were thrust into this Team America thing, you know, and you played along with it. You did, like, you went along with it until there was a certain point where you were just like, this is going to jeopardize my game. Like, I came here for Donny Thompson. I didn't come here for America. Like, to me, that was, like, the best moment of the game. I understand. Game for America, I'd be like, America, like, sorry, I'm glad that America loves me, but I'm here to play the game. Like, wait, I just want to know, like, why didn't you knew that you were going to do that? Why didn't you do that sooner and try to go after Team America? Like, were you really afraid of, like, what America would think of you? Was that, like, always ever present in your mind? Didn't want to, like, piss off America, or, you know, because you did have a point where you're just like, I don't care anymore. Like, Team America, sorry, you know. I just think it's odd that, like, you chose that point to be, oh, whatever, I don't want to do this, when you could have just taken out the snake, the head of the snake, Derek, you know.
Yeah.
Was there ever a moment where you're just like, man, I got to just kill this Team America bridge?
No. I was honored to be a part of Team America. I was glad that America had put us together. Like I said, I figured America knew more individually about us, that knew that we should work together. You know, I didn't know. My gut feeling was feeling like, you know, maybe we shouldn't work together, but I knew America knew everything. If they wouldn't have voted us to be together if we hadn't supposed to been together, so I respected that. When I didn't want to do a couple missions, to throw my game off, I didn't feel like the individual missions was worth it. You know, to get $5,000 to maybe have the rest of the people think I was working with Frankie and Derek, that would have thrown our game off big time.
Absolutely.
You know, because there was a lot of paranoia in there. People was like, you know, you're America's choice. You know, you're a saboteur. And since I wasn't close to Frankie or Derek, if they had seen us or thought that we had voted a certain way or had even put us together any whatsoever, with the paranoia in there, that would have blowed my game up. You know.
That's a good point.
So when I said I didn't want to do anything to mess my game up, it was individual missions, not the whole Team America. It was just those individual missions I felt like would mess our games up because people would suspect we were working together.
Okay. So
yeah, you don't have to, like, yeah. Go on.
So, but if you'd won that boxing HOH, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, if you'd have won that, who would you have targeted? Would you have seen that as a time to have gone after Derek possibly? What would you have done if you'd won that HOH?
You know, to be honest, when I'd lay down at night, I would think, what should I do? What should I do? I really don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. You know, like I said, there was 8 people gone at the time. There was 8 people left. Would I have been the person to turn on Team America that early and look like a bad guy? I doubt I would.
But you wouldn't have, I don't know, that's the thing, is like, you wouldn't have looked like a bad guy. Like, this Team America thing, like, it was thrust upon you. Like, you didn't ask for it. And that's the thing is, like, you shouldn't have been playing to America, in my opinion. Like, if, I know that, like, America loved you, of course, absolutely, but it's like, you have to play the game to win. Like, I would have just been like, middle fingers to America. Like, I'm glad you guys love me, but, like, I got to win game, and you got I don't know. That's my own little.
No, the reason, like you know, that early in the game, I didn't want to do it for America's sake, also. But they had so many people in their alliance. It would have been difficult, even if I had nominated them. You know, I'm just saying, if I would have nominated Frankie or Derek, Frankie won veto. I would have had to put another person up they would have had the numbers
Yeah.
to send the other person home. So then there would be two people coming after me. So it was a lose-lose situation, you know. They had so many people.
Yeah.
I even thought when Caleb was going to throw that football, B.O.B., and put Frankie up there, I was even questioning, like, wait a minute, if Frankie even set up there to Thursday, they still have the numbers to keep him.
Yeah.
Well, that was an interesting battle of the block, and we'll kind of get to that in a second. Well, actually, let's hit on it now. What was tell us about Caleb and his wanting to throw it. What was the deal with them? Would they not let him play after he said he was going to sit out? Kind of how'd that go? Because it was really odd.
Yeah, it was odd to be a part of the situation. It was like
Awkward.
when I went to bed. Yeah, when I went to bed the night before, I just had a gut feeling that I was going to be nominated. And, you know, with the big, large number, I figured that it could be my time to be the target. So when I woke up the next morning, Caleb had been up all night long. He had said, hey, Donny, everything's going to be all right. I'm going to volunteer to be nominated today, and I'm going to throw it. And it was like, what in the world? It's amazing what happens when I sleep at night. And I was thinking, really? So I had to keep telling myself that I won't believe it until I see it, because and then the day progressed. The four of us was nominated like I thought we were going to be, and I was like, I still ain't going to believe it until I see it. And it got to that night, and when they started telling us about, you know, we'll be able to win, leave the house, go see football players, I was like, Caleb won't throw it now because we're going to win. So then when he said that, no, I ain't going to participate, I thought to myself, oh, no, the best way to throw something is to participate and throw it, not to set out. So I immediately had a bad feeling about, you know, if you really want to throw something, you throw it like the next week, like someone tried. You really try to throw it. You don't just sit down and let the other person know they got to do it.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
You know, it was very awkward, and, you know, I was very proud that Frankie won it by himself, you know, because of the situation, you know, because someone chose to sit down and not participate, you know, it was great to watch Frankie win it by himself, even though he beat me in Zach, but it was wonderful to watch. I love pulling for the underdog. It was wonderful.
Well,
that's good.
Yeah, you were kind of the underdog there, Donny. You should have been pulling for yourself. But, yeah, no, and in hindsight, do you feel like that competition was easier to do solo?
I really don't know. There was condensation on everything. The board was sticking. You know, I don't know the facts about that. You know, like two people, if one needed to go up on the right-hand side and we said, hey, go up on the right-hand side, there was a little bit of time from his mouth to my hands. So maybe if a person had it, their brain can tell their right hand to do something better than you can verbally tell someone. But I don't really know. I know that it was fairly close. I think we was only like 4 foot from getting our final ball in the hole. So, you know, it was very close. And he won it fair and square.
It looked close on television, but I didn't know how actually close it was. Hey, Donny, let me go right back. I want to get into your thought process for just 1 second. As far as I'm kind of rewinding back to that boxing HOH. In the event you won that, since you said earlier you were not exactly sure who you would have put up, and you would have tried to maintain loyalty to Team America, which I get. I would have, like, if I was on something, like, I get it. Like, McCrae can do the double birds. I would have been too scared to.
I'm evil.
You don't know. Yeah. Well, I would say you're evil, but I would say that you're, I don't know, I would say evil. But who would you have let influence your nominations? Who would you have consulted?
I don't know. I do know that I did win head of household one time. No one, like, from the other group, and, you know, not a lot of people shared game talk with me. But the day I won head of household, it was amazing. Everybody wanted to talk to me. Everybody wanted to give me their opinion. So I knew that if I won again, that's when everybody would be my friend again. Everybody was like, hey, who do you think you're going to get? How about so-and-so? So, you know, I knew I would have to listen to everybody and just kind of have to weigh it out. So I don't know really who I would put up. And that's how I would have probably done it. I would have probably listened to everybody that wanted to talk and try to go with, who would be less blood on the hands.
Okay. Was there anybody that you would have never nominated regardless of influence?
Well, at that point, with 8 people being gone and 8 people being still there, I don't think I would have, targeted Team America that early, I thought that was kind of early.
Okay, so besides Team America, go ahead.
Yeah.
I would say besides Team America, fuck, I'm so sorry. talk, Donny.
Go ahead, ask the question.
Well, no, I was going to say, so other than Team America, other than your loyalty to Team America, there was nobody else in the house that would have been non-consideration. Like you would have put anybody else up at that time if you thought it was better for your game, with the exception of Team America. Is that correct?
Yeah, probably so. Yeah.
Okay.
But I've still been a little more careful. Maybe it worked out. I didn't win because I wouldn't have known who to put up because their alliance was so big. I was going to make anybody mad if I put somebody up in their alliance anyway. So I was the target. Best case scenario, I lost head of household with 1 veto, and then I would have never showed my hand.
Sure. Okay. What did you think about Frankie's big reveal? As far as being Ariana Grande's much older brother, were you starstruck by that at all, or I know that you didn't care at all. You weren't as starstruck as Caleb, but when Frankie dropped that, everybody, just like Christine said yesterday, it was like just magic glitter of forgetfulness, and he just kind of went back into good graces. What was going on in your mind when that? Did you not think, man, should I tell them that I'm Elvis's cousin? Or what did you what did you think about that?
I really, I didn't really. When they was in the bedroom having that big talk, I wasn't a part of it to start with. I was thinking, I just thought it was another one of their big meetings that I wasn't invited to. And then I heard it get a little bit loud, and that just happened to be the room where my stuff was. I think after I took a shower and went in there to get my stuff, and I heard a little bit what they was talking, and then so he shared it with me. I didn't think it was no big deal. To be honest, I had never heard of her. She's a wonderful singer. I've heard of her since. I've heard her sing. She's got an angelic voice, but I didn't know who she was. I remember I told Frankie when he said something about it. I just said, "I'm sure you love your sister like I love my sisters," and that's about all I said.
That's good. Yeah. We always kind of joke if he'd come up to me and said, "My sister's Ariana Grande," I would have been like, "My brother's Chuck Clausen." It would have been like,
my sister's Morgan Olsen.
Yeah, exactly. It'd have been like, okay. When Frankie revealed that, did you? Go ahead.
I had already seen the reactions from the other house guests, so I knew she must have been someone big. I had just never had heard of her, so I knew it was I don't know if it was real, but I knew it was a real person because Victoria and other people was all excited about it. So I knew it was a real person, and I found out she's a wonderful singer, and like I said, to me they're just brothers and sisters.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. She didn't come with him.
Yep. Absolutely.
Did you think in your mind at that time? Did you think this is why Frankie's on Team America?
Maybe, maybe not instantly, but maybe later on. I had a lot of think time. Maybe that was, that along with him, having some things on, some things for himself. That was a lot of fans.
Since he was, I would say he was deceptive. It was lie by omission, and it was deception. It's Big Brother, so nothing against Frankie. But did you feel like maybe Derek is hiding something? Did you start to question other people? And the reason I mentioned Derek specifically is because he was obviously hiding something, but he was in Team America with you too. And since he was put on the Team America, I know that you knew you didn't have anything outside the house like that. But did it make you kind of question Derek at that time? And did that start that unwinding in your mind about his loyalty to Team America?
I had questioned him early in the game because I had seen how he was working with everybody, and he always wanted me to share things, but yet they wouldn't share things with me. And there was one time I was nominated, and when you're nominated, it does hurt your feelings for like 2 hours, no matter how straight-faced you want to be. And he had a talk with me, like, Donnie, you're acting different toward me. I felt guilty, and I didn't do nothing. So I guess he was wanting me to feel guilty so I would share things with him, and I really had nothing to share. Here I was just sitting on the block waiting to see what they had decided for me or how it shook down with the competition. So,
Yeah.
he played a very good game, a very good game. I did think something was up with him. There was one time he said, Donnie, after this game's over with, we're going to stay friends. There's something that I'd like to tell you, and it could have been his profession. I don't know, but that didn't really affect me because I never suspected he wasn't who he said he was. That's just the way I am. I told them who I was, so I wasn't going to think no one was no one else. So even if I had found it out in the middle of it, it wouldn't have changed nothing. So I thought it was something else he had wanted to share with me. I didn't know.
Do you think that by Frankie's secret being revealed to Derek, there was always these talks in the house? Is Donnie a Ranger, an Army Ranger? Is he a comedian? Is he, CIA? Do you feel like by Frankie's reveal that even widened the gap of distrust between you and Derek? Maybe wondering what secret you were keeping because he knew he was keeping a secret also.
Yeah, well, I hadn't thought of that. Y'all just made me think about it right now. Maybe it did. Just with Team America members, since that had come out and Derek knew he was hiding something, maybe they did think, well, Donnie Boy has to be hiding something because we two did. So maybe that I had not thought about that until y'all just gave it to me.
Well, that's one. Like I wondered how the members of Team America perceived each other after that secret was revealed, because you all would kind of wonder why am I here and be grateful for it. But then when Frankie has a bam kind of bomb drop moment, like I just wondered what kind of the mentality would circle around. Because you know as well as I do, you don't have to have done nothing wrong to be a target in the house. You just got to be the guy outside the room when the conversation got started. So I didn't know how that thought was. Let's kind of move into your let's get you evicted. You're evicted. We'll dance around a little bit because these questions for other thoughts. But I want to put you into the jury house. And I want to talk to you about what your goal was in the jury house with as far as other people. Did you want to try to influence how votes happened, or were you just tell us about your jury house experience?
Well, once I thought I was leaving the Big Brother house, once they shared that they think it was my time to go, I believed them. And then they was wanting to bargain with me or so right before I was evicted, and I was thinking, they might want to keep me. I might have to go.
What were they bargaining? What was that?
Yeah, I think it was Caleb and Cody was saying, Donnie, if we keep you, would you go after Victoria and Christine next? I think I even went as far to say, if you keep me, I'll throw the next head of house. So, just to buy me another week.
Of course.
So I thought for a second they was going to keep me, and I was like, oh, no, I ain't prepared for that because I was already preparing to leave. So, I told them what they wanted to hear. I told them what they expected me to say.
Sure.
And then I still had a gut feeling that I was going. So once I left and went into the jury house, you know how the big relief it is. It's such a nice place. Oh my Lord, I could sleep good. Eat what you want. I had been on slop my last week, taking cold showers, sleeping on a slab. So it was a lot better in the jury house. Far as wanting to convince others in the jury, we are babysitted and not allowed to talk about certain things.
Sure.
We can only talk when the cameras is on. So maybe by me saying some funny things on, when a new person was evicted and they brought the cameras in, maybe by me saying something funny, I don't know if I was trying to persuade them or not, or just trying to entertain them in there.
Well, one thing I'd like to ask you. One thing I'd like to ask you about. Obviously, the two votes for Cody were you and Jacosta. There's a thing about fake praying that came in, and it was Jacosta said that you told her you thought Derek was fake praying. Like, would you like to, was that you trying to influence jury votes? Because obviously you seem very very hurt feeling. Your feelings were hurt by Derek, and you seem pretty upset with him.
Yeah.
Now, Cody played a good game. Cody deserved some
Yeah.
votes. I mean, I'm just saying, Cody possibly played a winning game. Was that you trying to taint the jury towards Cody, away from Derek, or was that you honestly felt that way? And can you explain that a little bit? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'd just like to hear about it.
Yeah, maybe my feelings was hurt about him, and maybe I did want to work the jury, but I knew that the jury didn't want to vote for Cody either. So it was one of them situations where I wasn't going to choose the person, not alone. It's going to be the majority, and I had already knew how people talked on camera that they didn't respect Cody's game because they didn't think he made big decisions. So when it got down to the vote, when it came down to the vote, here's how it was. I did not know who I was going to vote for when I was sitting on that stage. I had to listen to the questions. I had those keys in the little sack holding it in my hand. Did I want to vote for Cody? Yes, I did going in there, but I said I'm going to listen to the questions. And Cody said, "We are equal." I got the information and I gave it to Derek. When he said that, I thought, he's putting more power in Derek's hands because he said he reported it to him. So I thought to myself, I'll vote for Derek. I felt like the majority was going to vote for Derek anyway. That's not why I voted. I just felt like Cody was putting the biggest responsibility on Derek's shoulders. But I had a moment to think. I thought to myself, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, I never want to regret my vote. Whether my vote counted for the winner or not, I never want to be able to regret my vote. And I remembered one Sunday morning, I told Cody, I said, "You're a very respectful young guy, and if I make it to the jury and you make it to the final two, I will give you my vote." And I think he said, "I will give you my vote too, Donnie." And I remembered I had said that. So I had to go with what I said. And I know 3 years from now, I will not regret that I voted for Cody, and that's the reason. Derek probably played a
No, absolutely.
but I told him I would vote for him.
I think they both played winning games. They both played really good games, and I think that Cody deserved the win just as much as Derek. I think that it's like a bitter vote or anything like that. I think you awarded the game that you like the best, or there's nothing wrong with that vote. I think it's a good vote. No, Cody did great. The kid killed it. Just as much as Derek killed it.
And yeah, absolutely. And Donnie, on our show, we talked several on this podcast. We talked how Cody was playing a phenomenal game and really thought he had a good potential to win. So no, that's one of my questions I've got written down here, and I just want to ask it straight out. You just basically answered it, but this might help some more elaboration to clarify. But your vote was for Cody. It was not against Derek. Is that right?
That is right. You are absolutely right. It wasn't against Derek. It was just for Cody because I had told him I will give you my vote.
Okay. All right.
It's honorable.
Was there anything? I know that you said that Jacosta said that her and Cody had the same talk, and it was a vote of integrity, not bitterness for Jacosta as well, which I can appreciate. The thing I would like to know is there anything that Derek could have said that would have gotten your vote on that night?
I don't, that I don't know, for the fact that Cody said what he said, and I thought to myself, well, I'm going to vote to Derek. I don't think so, unless they just kept talking until it was time to vote, and I didn't have that moment to think. But once Cody had said I gave that information to Derek, I thought to myself, I will vote Derek. And then I had that little bitty moment. I don't know if it was a commercial or what. There was a little moment when I said, 3 years from now, I don't want to regret it. And then it came to me that I told Cody, maybe not even on one occasion, but 2 occasions, I said, Cody, if you make it to the final 2, I'll vote for you. And I remember I said that, so that's what I did. And I hope I don't ever regret it.
No, I mean.
Oh, you'll
it's
never
extreme
regret that. No way.
No,
No
I don't.
way.
I don't think you will. I don't think you will either.
No. No.
No, and certainly don't ever regret it for the reason that people will say, Derek would have played a perfect game if he'd won 9-0. You know, don't ever regret it for that reason. For damn sure. But no, Cody played. Like, but besides your promise you made to him, Cody played one hell of a game. He did lots of important things in the house that kept Derek safe, kept the Hitmen safe, and honestly warranted. I thought that the vote could have gone, 4-5, and maybe should have. Was there anybody that you felt like played a game that you would have voted to win against Derek that you had not promised a vote for, but you felt would have played a better game if he or she had sat next to Derek in the final two?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if the votes would be different, but I bet people would think a lot harder if Derek had been sitting beside of Frankie, because Frankie played a great game. He was a competition beast. He won over 50% of the competitions. Yes. He had the social game. Everybody loved him. So I can only speak for myself, but I would think the outcome would have been different if maybe not the outcome would have been different, but the votes would have been different if he had been sitting beside of Frankie.
Okay, I'm so glad to hear you say that, because Frankie, despite everybody, wanting to, trash him or this or whatever they want to do, Frankie played a heck of a game. And if he'd made it to the final two, he would, my opinion would have been, he would have won over Derek and been seen as just as good a winner as Derek is, in my humble opinion. Because Frankie did play a phenomenal game. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, he was a competition beast, social beast, and he showed up to play and he did it. Do you think that Caleb would have stood a shot against anybody if he made the final two? I know it's speculation, but he was awfully close, and he played a very honest and integral game.
Yeah. I like Caleb, and if he was sitting beside a certain people, I may have gave him my vote. So it all depends who was sitting beside of who at the end.
Sure. Well, Donnie, is there any aspect of your game that you would like to, because it's like when you're in that house and you're not talking game to people, because like Caleb talked on our interview and he said, well, I tried to talk game to Donnie, but he wouldn't talk to me, and like I was like, okay. Well, no. I'll just say this. What were you going to say to him? Were you going to say, Caleb, I'm targeting all these people that are in your alliance, or you're going to say, I'm targeting all these people I could potentially work with? Like, you were just caught in kind of like a shit sandwich where you couldn't talk a whole lot of game as far as your goals and aspirations for it. So, I mean, like tell us what your plan would have been as the game evolved, what Donny Thompson's strategy was going to be to get to the end, to get to the final, 5, 4, 3, and 2. Where would you have cut the fat? Where would you try to form alliances, and what would you have tried to have done? Because I know you've thought about things a lot, but when you don't have anybody to verbalize it to, the live feeders don't see it, and people don't know. So this is a great opportunity to kind of tell us what you were trying to work and claw your way through the game, and if you made it past that halfway point, where you would have gone.
Well, just in the game that I did play, through the way it progressed, I didn't have a big alliance, but I had friends, and I had Hayden, and then Hayden was gone. I had Nicole. Then Nicole was gone. I had Zach. Then Zach was gone. Nicole came back. If Nicole had went before me, I was already working on Caleb, building a relationship, making a friend. It's like I only had one friend. I knew I was the target. I knew I had to win competitions or they would get me. I also thought maybe with their big alliance, there would be at some point they would have to start getting each other, and they would need someone like me to get each other out. So,
Absolutely.
I didn't panic a whole lot because, what could they do? Vote me out. That's the worst. I mean, that's the only thing they could do, and that was going to kill me. So I thought at some point with their big alliance, they was going to have to use some outsiders like myself to get rid of each other. So I was hoping for that, and they were smart, and they stuck together, and they didn't do that.
Well, I was hoping. I was truly hoping, Donnie, that you could find a fracture in the detonators or bomb squad or bombinators or whatever the world they would call themselves. But I do wish that you'd been able to get that fracture happening. America was. I mean, it would have been a very rootable couple weeks there. Let's talk about the jury competition. You had to come back in the house and shop. Was that awesome?
That was very awesome. I've watched every season, and the jury has never been able to come back and have a luxury competition. And so for us to go back and be able to tear the house up, they had it looking good too. That was fun. Watching Zach put on another performance in the house, that was fun because Zach was the performer of the summer. And then the competition, it was fun. It was one of them things where you were relieved when you was going to play because it had no effect on your game anymore. You didn't really have nothing to lose.
Sure.
You just had something to win, and it was lots of fun.
Cool. Well, there's been a little bit of a stink about you marking Victoria's name off the bathroom door. Would you like? I mean, it's goofy. I mean, hell, she's in there several more days. She could have written it 100 more times. But tell us about that because it's just kind of funny.
Yeah. When we went back in, they told us to go back in the house. Tear it up, do what you want, just not damage anybody's personal property.
Okay.
Some people had wrote on the door and got caught and was told do not do that. So it was something we wasn't supposed to do anyway. So we were waiting to use the bathroom, and another house guest said, "Look, her name's up there and what she put." I don't even remember, something about princess or something.
Princess, yeah, I'm sure.
So when it was my turn to go in there and I used the bathroom, I did see it, and I happened to notice a bobby pin on the floor. So just like tearing up the rest of the house, I marked through it. And it wasn't that bad. I just done like a veto thing. I made a circle and put a little line. She had plenty of time she had plenty of time to do it over. She had plenty of time to mark everybody else's out. So, I didn't feel like it was a big deal. No worse than people throwing her clothes
it's not a big
everywhere.
Deal. No. And Andy last season, he marked out
for her.
Yeah. Andy marked out McCrae's name and Amanda's, and so that's typical behavior. So then, obviously, I didn't think it happens. I was wondering about that. That's funny. A lot of people have been asking.
It was nothing. It was nothing personal. It just wasn't there when I was in the house. So when someone brought it to my attention, it was right there at it. We were in the process of tearing the house all to pieces anyway. I didn't think it was any big deal.
Of course.
It was definitely nothing personal to Victoria.
Yeah. You just could not resist. I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
It's just some fun and games, a little bit of vandalism. Exactly.
Donnie, did you write your name on the bathroom wall or on the bathroom door at all?
Yeah. Real little, I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Good.
Sweet.
Hell yeah. Did you put Donnie or did you put DT? What'd you put?
I just put it looked like a second grader. It just said DONNY.
All right.
Little bitty, about an inch and a half.
Perfect. All right, man.
Everyone that's going to be on Big Brother 17, make sure you look for that.
Look for that.
Yeah.
Hey,
all the viewers that are,
Donnie,
if you're set, go ahead.
Finish.
Hey, if you're sitting on the toilet, you can see it real good because it's low.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
That's so good.
Donnie, let's talk about you being voted as America's favorite house guest this year. What was that feeling like? Did you expect it at all? Who did you think in your mind was going to get it? And then what was it like? I mean, because that is a huge honor. So tell us what you think.
Yeah, in the jury house, me and Zach were playing in the pool, and we was talking about it, and we was thinking, if Frankie made it to final two, and he couldn't be involved with America's Choice, that it could go to someone like me or Zach, because I know Zach was the entertainer of the summer. People loved him, with the Fruit Loop dingus and the way he exited, walking across the coffee table, throwing Fruit Loops at us. That was awesome. So I knew it would probably be between the two of us if Frankie was in the top two. So when Frankie was evicted, we really didn't think we had a chance. We didn't even think it would be close. So I didn't expect it. And when Julie Chen said it broke records and 5 million people, I can't even comprehend what 5 million looks like. And I was so happy when she said it was
Good
me.
for you.
So grateful.
Good.
That
for
is
you.
awesome. So awesome.
Good for you. You did end up winning more money than Cody. Is that correct?
Well, see, I don't know. I don't. I know what I was told I was getting, and
Well,
you know, that's all I know. I don't know about him.
I'm almost pumped.
Like,
Positive.
okay, he made $50,000. He got $50,000, and that's it. So, so you're a big winner. You're a big winner. All right, good.
Yeah, you did good. Donnie, like, being a big super fan, being like, you know, being a huge fan of the show, getting to live your dream, getting to be on it, you know, what is your takeaway after being, it's all over, what is your takeaway from this whole experience? Like, what are you going to take away from this?
It was a great experience, a dream come true. I had watched every season. I love to watch Big Brother, and I got to watch it from inside of the house this year. So it was just an honor to be able to play it, to be able to make it past the first person evicted, to be able to make it to the jury, to be able to make it to the halfway point. I made it further than I ever thought I would. To be honored with America's Favorite was, to me just as good, because I did not play this game to win $500,000. I played this game to win Big Brother. The people that votes for the winner of Big Brother, we're limited to what we know. But America knows everything. So I felt honored that so many people voted for me to win. It's like it was a win when I stepped across the threshold on day one that I was chosen to play this game.
Excellent.
Absolutely, man. You deserve it. You deserve everything, all the love from America, man. You deserved it 100%. You were entertaining. You were hilarious. Like, I don't know. You just, like, brought a little bit of life to the whole feed, you know. I don't know. You deserve every single love and admiration of America. I don't know.
Thank you so
Can't
much.
give you enough praise.
Thank you.
I'm happy.
No, absolutely.
I'm happy for you too, Donnie, that you won it. Before I got one question for you, as far as if you were to go back in the house, if you get to play All-Stars 2, here comes Donny Thompson.
Yeah.
What would you do differently, if anything? Or would you go in there more cutthroat, more willing to lie, deceive? What would you change up?
I don't really know. I wouldn't think I would be any more cutthroat, but you know, I would try to play honest again with integrity, and hopefully people would want to align with someone that America loves so. So maybe that would help me.
Yeah. Maybe research a little bit of young kids culture or young adult culture, or do a lot of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Try to find some common ground, get some common ground. Yeah, exactly.
Getting turned up.
Getting turned up. That's right. Yeah, hell yeah. Hey,
Can you give us a
sharp for us?
Yep. Give us some cricket. I love it. It's my favorite. I love it.
All right. Well, Donnie,
So
man,
good.
we've been going over an hour now. It's been so much fun talking to you. I know Christine's there, wanting you to cut loose and spend a little time with her this weekend. But I'm going to. I'm gonna tell you, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. This is honestly our last interview we've got set up for the postseason. We're trying to get Frankie, Zach, and Nicole on. And so this might be the last on the block that we have until BB Canada 3 starts. So we really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And being candid and honest and open with your answers. It was a lot of fun talking with you, Donnie. So what's next for Donnie? What's next for Donny Thompson? Tell us about the airing date of your Bold and Beautiful episode and what you have planned.
Yeah, if anybody wants to see any more of Donnie, they can tune in October the 30th and 31st, I guess at 1:30 Eastern Time on CBS for the Bold and Beautiful.
Well,
I'm excited.
Donnie, which one are you? Are you bold or are you beautiful?
Bold.
I don't know. I don't know. I sure ain't beautiful with this mangy thing.
Oh, man, no, I disagree. Okay, well, tell them where they can find you. I know that you're just now getting used to Twitter, getting on social media. So, and you've just taken
Yeah.
over that account. Tell everybody what your official Twitter handle is, please.
It's at Donny Thompson BB. The D is capital and the T is capital. And the BB is capital.
All right, good deal. Good deal.
Excellent.
All right.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Good
So
deal.
everybody, if you haven't already, go out and follow Donny on Twitter. Follow me at Spencer B. Clausen. Follow McCrae at McCrae Chum. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for more of these Big Brother podcasts. We'd like to thank everybody for watching. McCrae and I talk all the time that we have the smartest. We feel like we have the smartest Big Brother audience that's available that's watching these podcasts because we can tell in the comments. We can tell that with all the positive feedback, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. And like I said, we can't thank you enough for making this a wonderful season. We're not sure if we're going to have the other interviews. We'll get them if we can. But if not, please tune back in to our podcast for Big Brother Canada 3.
And
McCrae, go ahead.
once again, thank you, Donny. Once again,
You're
thank you,
welcome.
Donny, for doing this. This was just awesome. So much
Y'all are
fun.
welcome.
Oh,
Thank you
thank
for
you.
having me.
And send our love to
all the
Christine.
best,
Yeah, they wanna
Christine.
send their love
Well, thanks, everybody.
Y'all. Thank you.
Hey,
Yes.
love ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. See you guys.